And even though I've said many times that mass stalker is the way to go, it does not hurt to add in a few zealots to take some of the abuse of war, because the stalker is a very expensive unit. Well, not very expensive, but it is an expensive unit, whereas the zealot isn't too bad. One of the limiting factors of my army appears to be gas over time, which is perfect for anyone who's trying to figure out where they're going to get the extra money for a zealot to come out. Yeah, I don't know if I need to explain that at all. But it's pretty simple logic. If you don't have enough gas, you tend to have plenty of minerals. Therefore, use minerals on that kind of stuff. And right here, you can just see that just looking at the unit frame of the hybrid, it seems to have gotten bigger. And that's because it has, like I've said before, every successive wave seems to make it a little more angry. And it does put you on the clock for this mission. But I have taken out one of the outlying bases. I believe I'm going to go and attack an additional outlying base that's been giving me trouble. And I think that High Templar, I think just by mismanaging how I run it to my army, I end up getting it killed. Yeah, you can see me running it into nasty places on the minimap. The green light is flashing green and black. Never a good thing because it tends to go away, and that means people have died. But here I am kind of storming through the second Protoss base. And if you're ever attacking Protoss, you can do a surgical strike where you just run in and pop their pylons and run out, and then maybe a few mineral line workers. And when you do that, you're pretty much going to put the base on hold for a little while. And that's always a good thing because it usually means that they're building up to fighting strength instead of attacking you. So it's a little offensive defense kind of mentality. And right now I know I have extra units at my main base and at 3 cannons, so I decide to pull back to my main base before I start taking a fight with the hybrid, because it is just getting kind of overpowered at the moment. So I'm gonna play it safe and spend an extra minute and a half to kite it back to my home base instead of fighting it on the road and maybe losing an extra 4 or 5 stalkers, because they are quite valuable. And the great thing about attacking this base, and not the Oblivion so much, is once you knock out your one of the Protoss bases, and then you kind of cripple the other, you can really relax. And I'd say right now, first off, you can really relax because the hardest part is pretty much done. Right now you have an expansion running. If you follow my plan pretty closely, you have the opportunity for another expansion, which means you're going to be bringing in a ton of money, and best of all, you are not going to be attacked nearly as much by Protoss players, pretty much the hybrid exclusively. So you can just wait for 2 or 3 more waves if you want to really get like a steamrolling army going. And if you are going to do that, I'd recommend putting up another gateway or 2 right now, so you can kind of take advantage of all that extra income you're going to be getting from your new expansion.
Shadows. You have not enough minerals. You must construct additional pylons. We are one in the shadows. For the reckoning.
And if you've done this mission before and failed miserably, I've done it too, no shame in that. You might notice that the stalkers they make you smile because the blink problem with the hybrid, or more of annoyance, is that as soon as you get all your units into an ideal position, you have your range, making this nice concave circle around them and optimal firing range, and your melee's in there swinging, the hybrid's going to blink away and ruin that whole party. And I stand corrected. Apparently, even if you knock out both Protoss bases on the outskirts, they'll still attack. My theory would be that the one right across the bridge would be sending that. So I guess you're not out of the woods completely, but you are in pretty good shape. And some of them look hallucinated. Interesting. I've never seen a computer do that before. Fun little tip: if you're playing online, and you get a sentry with hallucination, you can go ahead and make a hallucination of a phoenix, and you can use that phoenix not only as a scout, because it can quickly fly into your enemy base and kind of check out what's going on and give you an idea of what you need to make to counter, but it's also going to make them think, oh, okay, they're probably teching the phoenix, let me get some better anti-air. And of course, if that's not your plan and they haven't scouted you efficiently, you may fool them into trying to counter something that's not really an issue at all. And that could give you a huge advantage later on in the game.
Oblivion comes, none shall stand. Our cannon shall see.
And right there you saw me pull back all my stalkers and leave my immortal kind of almost out to dry, but that's because the immortal is a great tanking unit for absorbing damage, especially when you have a big heavy hitter who hits very slowly, because the immortal has the hardened shield, which is an amazing ability. So I waited till the immortal, if you play WoW, I waited till the immortal got aggro, and then I blinked in all my fun DPS mages and ranged rogues and hunters to do all the damage. And I would not recommend doing what I just did. That was probably one of the worst decisions I've made in a long time. Pretty much I let the enemy get a very effective concave on me, and I stood there and I took the abuse. For what you should do is run in there, poke something, because you generally aggro all the other NPC units. Poke something, and then run out across the bridge to where you can get an effective concave, and all the enemy units are effectively bottlenecked by the sweet holographic bridge. At this point, you can pretty much kind of ride the proverbial gravy train in. Also notice right here that when I decided to go in for a base attack, I didn't stand at the bottleneck. I actually kind of blinked my guys off to one side, so at the very least, I wouldn't be getting hit by the cannons on the other side of the base. And pretty much you can just reap the fruits of your labor. You've done a good job if you've gotten to this point, and everything should be working out pretty well. I would recommend, for effectively neutralizing the base, make a group of about 8 stalkers and have them Q attack, like hold shift and then right click every pylon, and then get the rest of your stalkers to go ahead and take care of units. And the reason I say go ahead and take care of pylons is, without a pylon, pretty much every Protoss building is effectively worthless. And if you have like one small task group working on that, you can just go ahead and disarm and neutralize all the opponents and their mineral lines while you're disabling any more buildings from producing a unit. So right here we pretty much have the end of the mission. You can either skip this and go straight to the relic guys, or you can go ahead and mop up the rest of the base, because if you're like me, you're quite furious at this evil Protoss force, and you'd like to see them all be eliminated from all kinds of history and whatnot. So that wraps it up for this commentary. I've been Tyler, well, I still am Tyler and will be Tyler 4-Shot Starcraft 2 guide. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you can go ahead and get through this horrible mission on your own.
State thy bidding. I am the heart. The spirits of the Preservers are entombed within. We must break them open immediately.